So, guys, here we are. It's end of day one in Power. Glorious Prague. Party's kicking off behind us. General feeling so far, David?
Absolutely fantastic. I am so excited by the conversations today, the partners working with each other, the content. I don't think you can ask for better. And the caliber of MSP sitting in this room is unbelievable. And that, for us as a benefit, we get to learn. And I think that's one of the greatest things for us as a vendor who supports them as a partner.
And Paul, obviously you've been interacting with the partners over the course of the day. What's been coming back at you?
I think it's just everyone's really happy to be here. You know, it's been a long time coming when we first muted this to actually getting here now. So the fact that the day has finally arrived, there's been a lot of, I suppose, positive vibes in the room. I think, you know, people are enjoying what we do. The conversations that I've had with partners all have been very positive. You know, sometimes in these events people come up and they want to complain or give out about certain things, but there's been none of that at all. Like, it's really been hugely positive. The event last night was amazing. You know, the place just smashed it out of the park. So it's been all great so far, and I'm sure it'll continue over the next couple of days as well.
I mean, just to I suppose concur with what you've been saying. One of the things I've found is that people have been really happy to come up and talk to me and to give product testimonials, to actually and to engage with us, which is great.
It's good. Yeah, I mean, you want your partners to talk to you, and you want them to be honest with you as well. Like everyone likes to hear good, positive feedback, but you know, it has to be meaningful feedback as well. Like, you know, so the fact that everyone here has been excited, you know, with the products that they use currently, but also, you know, the visions that we've talked about today on the main stage and the breakout sessions, and where we're going with the product portfolio and the organization. You know, everyone's kind of reinforcing, you know, the vision that, you know, the team have here at Enable as well.
Well, I think that's a key point, and you said it, Pete, is, and Paul, you mentioned it as well, it's not always positive. That's okay, right? Because that's how we learn. And John said it this morning, pressure test us.
Yeah.
Pressure test us, right? And that is how we improve and we become a better partner. And I've heard that here for sure.
And so you bring John into this, and obviously he was he opened the show. Well, apart from yourself and Johannes, of course. But so, you know, let's just track back over today's sessions. I mean, so John really focused on that sort of, you know, there is a huge amount of change in the industry at the moment, but we can transfer that change into opportunity. And we can really help MSPs to, and how, you know, as vendors, we're in the perfect position really to help our MSPs make the most of these opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, look at it, as you said, change is constant, but change does bring opportunity, and the opportunity is there. We see it, our partners see it. That was a lot of the discussions that we had today around, you know, what John said, and having that critical item, you know, and you can build your strategy off of it. And then, you know, Mike Adler coming up and being able to talk to our roadmap and the cloud, and how, you know, we've heard from our partners that they want this, so we're building it, right? And we're bringing them what they need. And you know, then Kevin Beery coming up and being able to talk about that partnership and how we'll continue to build that growth with our partners, you know, lockstep. All of that stuff is legitimate, and you know, it's exciting that our partners are being a part of it, and we get new ideas every time that we do one of these, and then we can go back and bring more to them, which is excellent.
I think, going back to John's session, what really struck chord with me was, and I know we stole this off Robert's session later on with Bury, but was that he said, like, that, you know, what got you here won't get you there. And I talk to partners all the time, when in the past roles, when I've been a sales engineer and talking with prospects, you know, you hear a lot, well, it worked for us so far, you know, and that's getting you to a point, but then to take it to the next level, you know, you have to change, you have to adapt, you have to welcome in new ideas. And I think it was a key point to make, and I think that will resonate with a lot of people as well.
And I think, you know, going back to Mike Adler's presentation, and talking, obviously he was on the complexities of the cloud and how our product roadmap is helping MSPs come to terms with those and manage those complexities, but also then that kind of look at, obviously, the kind of elephant in the room, which is AI. and saying that, you know, where we are at the moment, we're just starting to scratch the surface of the future technologies that are available, and what they're going to do to the industry. And I think is it fair to say that, you know, that's part of our job, is to be able to look at those technologies that are really coming up and look at how we can build those into our products, and how we can really how they can help MSPs do their jobs better.
Well, it is, and we have to do our own strategy as a company, and we have to try and look out and see what's there. But we're also unique in that we have a bunch of advisory groups within our partner base who advise us on how to build our roadmap, and that's where we're different. It is partner driven, because again, as I said earlier on stage, was we're not an MSP. Yeah. Right? And so we have to learn from them, and that feedback is great. But you're right, there's areas where we see potentially other areas, right? And we bring it back to them, and they say, you know what, that's right, or we'd like to see this change, etc. And there is a lot happening right now. Sneak peek, tomorrow we're going to do a panel on AI. Yeah. So there'll be some good discussions there for anybody who's watching this after. And it's, you know, AI is so new and has evolved so quickly that we also all have to work together to figure out that best way to utilize it.
But I think with AI and with something as new as it is, everyone wants something different. And, you know, it's great the way Mike used it in his presentation and incorporated in his presentation today. And I've seen scenarios where people use it to write copy. You know, the kids use it at home and they need to come up with a name for a potential Pokemon toy or something like that. You know, I mean, like it's so diverse.
Admit
what it can be.
That's you looking up for a Pokemon toy.
It's definitely not me. But it's so diverse in what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
And what I kind of just, you know, when I worked in an MSP back in the day, I always kind of thought, you know, this is how an MSP works, but it's not. Every MSP is different, so every MSP wants different things. And when we look at new technology like AI and what it can do, if we open the floor tomorrow or, you know, whenever, to say, what do you want AI to do for you? You get, you know, 400 delegates, you get 400 different answers, kind of scenarios, such. So, you know, it's good to hear the feedback, but also, you know, we have to look at the industry. We know, you know, what the technologies our partners use, what they use the most, and we'll have to see how that then fits into our tool set and how we can tailor that so they can benefit from it as well.
Yeah, and it's and again, it's kind of this idea of like us being able to guide what are going to be, I suppose, the big bets coming up. It's like, you know, we're there to act as a guide, as an advisor. Yeah. As a strategic advisor, but I suppose, in terms of where the technology is going.
The demonstration that Mike gave with the idea of using Chat GTP to create scripts in N-Central or in inside RMM and have them embedded so you can then run them, like, you know, that's a simple thing. Like, you know, Chat GTP can do so much more, but it's a great example of, you know, maybe an area that not all our partners have the expertise, you know, to write PowerShell code, you know, particularly maybe people just don't have time to learn it, they just don't have the skill set, they've never looked at it. You know, and to have a little tool like that, you know, it's a game changer for them, so that they can, when they have that little quirk of monitoring that they need, they don't have to now look at, I better do a PowerShell bootcamp to learn PowerShell and then trial and error for 2 months. I can tap it in to ChatGTP and it's going to be in my RMM solution, you know, in minutes. Like, it's amazing to have that kind of technology at their fingertips.
I'm curious why you didn't use ChatGPT to write your notes for today.
Should have done. I use ChatGPT so much often, I don't want to give it a break today.
I think he definitely
I've used my allocation for the month already.
There you go.
He definitely used it on his last blog post.
Yeah. No, he's on to me.
So moving on to the afternoon sessions. I mean, obviously this is, you know, this is where the learning really kind of starts, isn't it? So, for you guys, what were the highlights? What are the big things?
You know what? For me, it was that, you know, we had over 50% of the content here being delivered by peers and by industry experts, right? And so this is where we foster that crowdsourcing of ideas, and this is, you know, partners coming in and giving away their secret sauce, right? And talking about how they've done the right things and the obstacles that they've hit. I mean, to me, that's a huge win. I think that we've also hit a lot of key market conditions where we obviously do our roadmap, which is very important, but having a whole session on merger and acquisition, right, of bringing in private equity firms, investors, MSPs who have gone through it. Like, these are things that we're being asked for, and you know, then, you know, we've got Rob Wilburn's, you know, business transformation side and the benchmarking, and, you know, all of this, when you think about it, it ties together, right? And so the components may seem a little bit disparate when you look at an agenda, but they're all components of the growth in your business that we keep talking about with our partners.
And Paul, I'm expecting that you've been taking some proper notes for me on kind of...
Well, in the afternoon sessions, I kind of sat back and I kind of said, you know, because there's so much choice in the first place, you know, so we had, I think, was it 4 different breakout sessions, so we're talking about 16 different potential content. Unfortunately, couldn't get around to all of them, like, you know, but I mean, for me, what particularly, I'm interested in the roadmaps. So I'm going to be a bit, I was a bit selfish, and I said, okay, what's coming in the products? I want to know, I know some of it anyway, but what I like to hear is the feedback from the partners, and, you know, are we on the right track? Because you can go and watch a roadmap call on a product, and it could be completely missing the mark, you know, whereas, you know, we went to the Essential roadmap call, and we showed them what we're looking at there in terms of analytics, in terms of APIs, in terms of Apple device management, and, you know, the feedback was hugely positive in the room, and also the attendance in the rooms at all these breakout events. You know, every time I walk past, you know, it's full to the door. Like, so it's great that people are taking the opportunity. You know, in between sessions, you see people in the corridor, like they're running off to the next session and stuff like that. So I thought it was an absolutely wonderful afternoon of content with our partners and our internal content as well.
And I think, you know, you make the interesting point you make there is that, you know, there is so much content going on this afternoon that, you know, you can't get around all of it.
Yeah.
Which is why people need to keep coming back to Empower, clearly.
Yes, and they need to bring multiple people.
Exactly.
And we do. We have a lot of partners here with 4, 5, 6, 7 people, right? So they can get the coverage. And you know what? I mean, it's these. We obviously don't do these conferences every month, right? And it's, you know, we're here once a year, and that's an evaluation of what we've seen in the past year and what we believe is coming. So there's a lot to absorb, and it's you know, that's the great part about these, you know, and it's. You know, and I keep saying it, but I'm going to go back to it. I have learned so much today by talking to our partners and just understanding the local market conditions, that it changes the way I work with other partners around the world, right? And that's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, good. I mean, I was give a shout out to my former employers at Adapt IT, but I've been on to them for years. You should go to Empower, you know? You'll learn so much from it. And, you know, time came around this time around, I rang him, one of the directors, and said, look, you should really go to Empower. And he was kind of, yeah, I think we'll go all right. Like, and I was kind of almost taken aback, because you ask them every year, and they say, no, we're not going, we're not doing it. And then you say this, yeah. And I was talking to Stephen from Adapt IT earlier, and kind of the one regret they have is, he said we should have brought more people. He said, because we couldn't get to all the content, we couldn't get to all the sessions. I wanted to go to this session, I wanted to go to that session. So it's great that you're getting that kind of feedback as well. And I think, you know, those people that do come to Empower for the first time will see, you know, this is not sales, you know, this is not us pushing our product, which people that maybe haven't been to Empower before maybe have that misconception of it as well. So, you know, hopefully all these people that have come today now will come to the next ones and will continue to come in future as well.
Hopefully. So just moving on to obviously we have awards. Is there anyone particularly you want to pull out from this afternoon's batch of awards?
Yeah, you know what? It's Synaxon. I mean, they won 3 big awards here. Congratulations to them. Fantastic growth, fantastic organization. And I think there was only ever once in the history of Empower where somebody won 3 awards. So that's a pretty big compliment. And obviously they were excited. And listen, I mean, the awards are there. Even if you're a nominee, you are in the very top of service providers. And if you saw how long our list of nominees were, that was because we needed to recognize that many. And that, you know, and when I said this morning that we have the best MSPs in the world with Enable, we really do. And that shows it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I suppose the one that stood out was Nastar. You know, the project they've gone through in the last 12 months, the work that they've done, Martin was here today. Phil Smith obviously has been hugely involved in it. Well, it's nothing short of incredible. I was speaking to Martin earlier, their first step of the project was the migration and getting all the devices into the N Central platform, and they've gone from a situation of no devices to tens of thousands of devices within a couple of months. And I said to Martin, I have to laugh sometimes because I'll speak to someone and say, "Oh, I'm thinking of moving platform, but I got like 400 devices," and I was kind of going. Martin said, "I'll knock that out in an afternoon," So it's just it's staggering the work they did, and I think it was very deserving that they won the award as well.
Excellent. Absolutely, excellent.
So, kind of wrapping things up for today, Paul, your highlight.
My highlight, I think it's been in Prague, being at Empower again. It's 5 years since I last attended Empower. It was just meeting all the different partners and people coming up to me and saying, "Hi, Paul," and I see the face, and then I have to look down at the lanyard, and I recognize the name, but I don't know the name and the face together because they attend my boot camps, they go to office hours, they comment on Slack. They're in the community. So for me personally, my highlight was actually being able to get out here now and meet the partners face to face, spend some time, chat how are things going, and it just builds that relationship and it strengthens that relationship. That for me, that was the big takeaway for the day. That's the highlight for me.
David?
Well, we'll see how you do tomorrow if you're allowed back. But no, you know what my highlight was actually a lot of the peer-led content. I thought was absolutely fantastic. The fact that our partners are willing to walk in a room with 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 people and say, "This is how I got to where I had to go, and this is how we're going to continue to grow moving forward." I mean, what a community for that, understanding that there's enough business out there. And listen, I mean, we had a great party in a palace. You can't complain about that either. But, it honestly, to me, day one was that collaboration that I saw. It's just, it's what I had hoped for and what the business hoped for. And we saw it all day. And we're still seeing it right now where this beer fest is happening. And we have great music playing in our ears, which is just going to make our podcast even that much more exciting because, you know what? That's just what we do. Right, Paul?
Definitely.
Excellent. No, and I that's a perfect way to wrap up, really. I think, let's... looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. Looking forward to, finding out what else has kind of come out of Empower in day two. So... go charge your glasses.
Well,
go have a beer.
Tomorrow's half as good as today. We're in for a treat.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a pretty good day tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks.
Pete.